Joining me now are two of the writers of a brand new song, Kevin and Michael. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Good morning, Gabriel. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Michael.
All right, so before we get into the song itself, I want to ask you maybe each, you could talk to me a little bit about your own musical backgrounds and what led you up to this point in your musical journey.
Well, I mean, obviously, Cogeco Community Television has followed some follow up now, Gabriel, for many years. As you know, I've done some collaborations with on a project with Lionel Richie called Goodbye Ed's Year a few years ago to commemorate the fallen soldiers. And I've always been performing in the community. I've done television and some television and some radio over the past several years. Competed into many competitions in the Quebec circle and also in the Canadian circle. To say, my family comes from a very large family musical background. You know, God's been God's been at the forefront of it, and music is and music and faith and the power of music has been much and behind that. You know, with six bands that's gone through our family for many years, Gabe. It's a blessing. You know, it's a real blessing to be able to enjoy this craft, enjoy the music. You know, I thank very much my musical teachers and musical aspirations that have encouraged me to continue this journey since I was 5 years old, and obviously the blessing that I've been able to get with a God-given talent like this that's been passed on through generations now. 3 generations of my family members have all been musicians and musical aspirations to me. So I'm extremely blessed, and I'm hoping that this song, as we speak about it, is just going to give a journey to my children and leave a legacy that of what being a grandfather truly is about.
Absolutely. Now, Michael, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So I've been a musician all my life in musical theater, all that kind of stuff, rock bands. Kind of when Kevin talks about that, I relate heavily. Um, I've been a minister of music in churches for many years, but I'm a music teacher, an elementary music teacher. And Kevin and I met because of a song that I had written for our kids to sing, thanking our soldiers. And one day in our school office, they were calling me down. They said, "This man from Canada's calling." Everybody was so excited. So that was my first introduction to Kevin. And we had such a wonderful conversation. He's just such a gracious, kind man. And so we've known each other for over 10 years now, kept in touch.
Absolutely.
It's pretty awesome.
And it was actually kind of ironic, you know, Gabe, because I got to tell you that I really have to strongly suggest that if you do have an opportunity to take a look at what Michael has done with these children in his elementary school, it's absolutely breathtaking to see the art of music back in our schools. You know, I don't know how Michael is an American teacher. But I know in the Canadian system, Michael, the musical aspirations has been cut quite a bit because of musical cutbacks and so on and so forth. I don't know if you're living that in the United States, but I got to tell you, being a music instructor in the Canadian Forces, seeing teenagers go through and what you're doing right now, and I have my cousin Tracy, of course, that does that in Sherbrooke, Quebec, and what she's doing is similar to what you're doing. It's just absolutely breathtaking, and I compliment you on that because we need to keep the musical talents forward for generations to come. So it's truly an inspiration, and it's a God-given blessing that, you know. And it was ironic that you came into my life, Michael, because, you know, the little bit of the background story you gave is very simple. One day I said to Michael as a joke, I said, "You know what, Michael, you're not doing too much right now, are you?" I said, "Let's create a song." And from there, it just bloomed into something that we both weren't even expecting out of left field. It just came right out of nowhere. I can only say it was a divine intervention. That's what I'm going to say it musically. And it just took its own life, and it was just absolutely heart-wrenchingly beautiful when it came that creation came out. Michael just did an absolutely beautiful masterpiece in his musical wisdom to be able to do something like this. It's just absolutely magical.
And I think a lot of artists that write classic songs would agree with you when they say like that they come out of nowhere and they feel like divine inspiration. So let's talk a little bit. We are going to get to hear the song very soon, but tell me a little bit more about it. And obviously, it has a deep personal connection to you.
Well, I mean, to me, Gabriel, I mean, a lot of people might think that I wrote this song, of course, out of my own personal journey as a grandfather. But myself, my inspiration was seeing the interaction. I get a little emotional about this, but I see the interaction between grandfathers and great grandfathers, and especially um, I see the blessing that my father has given to my grandchildren, my children, and now my his great grandchildren as well. Now, I don't want to say only the mothers and the grandfathers, because grandmas and great grandmas have a big role to play in this as well. But there's a lot of things in my own personal emotional life that was carrying me forward in my own personal journey. But I can just remember the snapshot in my head when I'm thinking about this is a time where I was actually in my studio, and I was holding my granddaughter, and my dad was there, and actually she was a little restless. She was having some issues teething, and I remember holding her in my arms and singing to her, and she fell asleep. And when I remember putting her back into the crib, and just saying she's comfortable now, to me it was a blessing, because there's no more beautiful gift than when you see your own child bearing another child. And although certain circumstances in life's journey might not be the best favorable in certain circumstances in certain circle families, um, I think this song came from a place where it was more of a story, but it was also a celebration of what God gives us when we're a father and when we're a grandfather. And for me, if that message can come through, and in this beautiful masterpiece that Michael created in the musical, it's just beautiful, and it's able to touch people's hearts. That's the whole idea for me, of what I want in this journey of this song. It's a celebration of being a father, a grandfather, great grandfather, and so on and so forth. And when I see when I say that fatherhood comes from that, it's the divine intervention that you have from your higher power, whatever that might be, whatever religion or creed that you might decide to practice. For me, it's my own spiritual practice with God. God always guides me. He always has guided me as a father and as a grandfather, and continues to guide me every day. So to me, that's just a celebration of what this actual song is all about.
Absolutely, and we know how important spiritualism is to you, Kevin, but also as well family, and it really comes out in your words, and no doubt it comes out in the song, and I'm looking forward to hearing it. But I just want to finish with you, Michael, and just maybe briefly, what does the song mean to you, and just some final thoughts before we hear it.
Well, not being a grandfather yet, but having 4 kids of my own, I definitely hear everything Kevin's saying, and I can even imagine as my oldest is 21 now, so they're growing up. They're in that process of leaving home. There are a lot of emotions tied to that. My wife and I just love our kids so much, and we're not those that look forward to them going, so there are a lot of mixed emotions as they grow up. It's wonderful to see them, as the birds flying out of the nest, but we don't love it. It's pulling at our hearts. So as Kevin talks about that, I'm the whole time I sit here listening to Kevin talk, I'm thinking, when your biggest hope when you write a song is that it's coming from a personal, deep experience in your heart, but the point is that it transcends all personal circumstances and somehow is relatable to somebody else, and somebody else will just have that message touch their heart, maybe with a few different circumstances, and those things change between all of us. But music, the commonality of the message, the thing that we all share are those emotions, and those are the things that I hope, through his voice and through the words that he sent me. And basically he sent me all of his ideas, and then I just tried to put it in a box somehow. But this really is Kevin's baby, and that message I certainly feel like can be meaningful to anybody.
Absolutely, and you both mentioned the power of music, and we know that, of course, both the music that you guys have written and the topic will resonate very much with our viewers. So we're going to hear the song right now, but I just want to thank you both for joining me, and thank you for writing this beautiful song, and we're going to hear it right now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabe. Thanks, Michael.
Seems like only yesterday your mom came into our lives. She was just as small and beautiful as you. She brought the joy into our eyes and put the sun up in the sky. She made the world so innocent and new. As she grew up and met the man who would be part of God's master plan, had a baby girl so sweet and so gentle. From the sweetest smiles and loving coos to the words and steps it all came to, I realized your grandpa's little angel. There's no doubt that he just knew. As I grow old and gray, I need one more thing in life, that's you. So take my hand, I'll walk with you for as long as I am able. For the joy you brought into my heart, your grandpa's little angel. Grandpa's not a perfect man, no, your mom and daddy too. They walked away and I stepped up for you. I blessed am I to realize the miracle before my eyes, the message of the song forever true. And as you grow up, please understand that you're part of God's own master plan. And I'll be there through the good times and the painful. When the joy and sorrow comes to you, please know that this one thing is true. You'll always be Grandpa's little angel. There's no doubt that he just knew. As I grow old and gray, I need one more thing in life, that's you. So take my hand, I'll walk with you for as long as I am able. And the joy you brought into my heart, your grandpa's little angel. So much more. The seasons change and the flowers grow, but my love stay the same. You know, from God comes love and love comes light. There's no doubt that he just knew. As I grow old and gray, I need one more thing in life, that's you. So I'll walk with you for as long as I am able. For the joy you brought into my heart, your grandpa's little angel. For the joy you brought into my heart, your grandpa's